Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Phillies Hand Stove Hotline is back. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phillies Hand Stove Videocast, and today we're going to have another episode of the Phillies Hand Stove Hotline. Like I said, before getting into this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please don't engage the bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. So the Phillies Hand Stove Hotline, after taking a couple weeks off, right? Of course, you all know I've been very busy as of late. But I finally had time to sit down and make a video for the Phillies Hand Stove Hotline. It's been quite a while, right? So not a lot of questions this week because of the long break. But hopefully this prompts other questions to follow after this video. So if you want to be on Phillies Hand Stove Videocast, you can call 267-225-3392. Let me say it again. 267-225-3392. You can find this in the description section. Call, wait to hear the tone, then state your name and question and your opinion about any Phillies topic. If you do not want to, call and send a voicemail, you could send a voice memo and email it to phillieshatstove@gmail.com. You can find us all in the description section. If you do not want your voice to be on the show, you can DM me at Phillies Hat Stove on Instagram, at Harper Fanatics on Instagram. You can find us all in the description section, or you can email me, phillieshatstove@gmail.com. So just state your name, your question or opinion about any Phillies topic, and then where you're texting from, right, or messaging from. Same goes for the voicemail. Like I said, this where you're calling from, where you're recording from. Just tell me where you're from. Doesn't have to be a exact location. It could just be a general location, right? So kind of county you're from or state, whatever. I don't really care. Just as long as you give like some type of location. So let's get into the voicemail this week, right? I mean, we're going to go to Andrew down in Georgia now. Just remember that this voicemail is from September 9th, so it's, not too recent, but I'm going to play, of course, almost 20 days ago, but I think it's still a little bit relevant, right? I mean, you're talking about, bullpen that still is kind of iffy, right? And we're going to, go back and look at this voicemail. So let's pick it up right here from Andrew, calling in from Georgia. Let's take a look at what he has to say.
Bro! Are you kidding me, bro? 2 outs recorded in the inning? Oh my god. Everyone in my house is enraged right now. 2 outs recorded, and then Kennedy just blows up. Bro, I'm so tired of this. We're like worse than the Mets at like protecting leads, and that's an embarrassment. Wow, we finally got the final out in the inning. Guess what? 4-2. Bryce Harper has been on fire, and that's it. I mean, Odubel Herrera with a terrible slide. Let's not act like the offense is good either. 2 runs scored, and then that slide, bro. And let's not act like, because we don't even have our best slider with JT Realmuto. But it'll be the same because he sucks too. This team, the underperforming talent is crazy, bro. Boo!
Well, I do remember I was live streaming that game, right? That was very, very frustrating. You have a, lead against the Colorado Rockies like that later in the ball game, and you just totally implode, right? You're talking about Ian Kennedy, and, he's just not been great since joining the Phillies, right? He's been very, very inconsistent. He showed signs of, looking pretty solid. Then he has these kind of just crazy appearances where he just looks totally off track. So I definitely agree with you on that. That definitely was a very, very frustrating loss. We ended up losing that game 4-3. I remember I was live streaming that game, like I said, so I remember it very, very well, and I think it's still relevant. Like I said, I understand that's, almost 3 weeks ago, but I just think it's still pretty relevant. This shows that this bullpen, you can't trust it. This bullpen cannot be trusted, so I still think it's a relevant point to talk about. I think it's still a relevant voicemail to play because it just shows, and that's not just one situation when this bullpen has looked terrible, right? I mean, we've seen it time after time after time again, where this bullpen has just looked very, very shaky. So I think it's important that we bring that up again. As regards to JT Realmuto, a lot of people do think he's underperformed this year, but I still think he's had a very, very good season. I mean, if he wasn't getting paid all this money, I think that people would have a different tone, right? If this was Ralph Marchand having JT Realmuto this year, people would be going crazy in the city. But because of the big contract now and because he's signed, guys are kind of been more, critical of JT Realmuto. Okay, you got your money. Now let's see how you do, right? I mean, let's not forget that last year he did hit 268. Not really many people really brought that up in the offseason. But now, because he's already been paid, I think people are kind of, it's like, kind of looking at him in a different light. Kind of go both ways with JT Realmuto. but I'm not going to really call him the BCIB too much. But I definitely agree with what you're saying right there. As we go, take a look at an Instagram follower from Doylestown, as he is at Hot Stove Hotline question. And this is from @Bill_D'Ambrosio. And he is asking, should the Phillies chase a shortstop in free agency because Didi and Torres are really inconsistent? I go both ways on this too. Yes, I like Ronald Torres, because he's, kind of a part-time player, kind of a platoon guy. I think you got to keep him. He's not the kind of guy that's going to go out playing time. He's not going to be out there, playing 155 every year. But in regards to Didi Gregorius, he was supposed to be the everyday shortstop. And he has declined significantly this season for whatever reason why. Some injuries haven't helped. And, his ability to hit against left-handed pitching has just been a total void. Occasionally for a few exceptions, but he does not hit left-handed pitching well at all. So he's definitely been a major disappointment this year. But this is a guy I could see bouncing back, right? It just all depends on if he's healthy or not, but you're taking that risk by letting him, get another shot. So he has another deal in this contract, of course. And what kind of team is going to want to take on, $12+ million? So what kind of team is going to want to take that on? I can't really think of hardly any ball clubs that want to take on that kind of money. They can't even have an OPS above 650. So I don't know what kind of team would want to take that on. But to answer your question, I think it's a possibility. Right? You got some big names like Carlos Correa and Corey Seager. You got some big names, coming off the books this year. Trevor Story, of course, who, in my opinion, hasn't had the most outstanding season. And I understand that those are some attractive names, and you might want to throw some money at them. And I understand, the Phillies managing partner John Middleton has talked about the luxury tax as well. But you also have to keep in mind that when there's a kid in this farm system, and his name is Bryson Scott, and this kid is going to be something amazing. And I understand that this Phillies team has let us on to believe these prospects are really going to be something, and it turns out that they are nothing. I think this is a different story. And of course, I've said that about Alec Boehm. I've said that about Spencer Howard, who's no longer in the organization. But I think this kid has a lot of potential, right? I think he's going to be the everyday shortstop for the future. And I definitely think he's going to be coming up next year, and I think he's going to have a very, very good impact on this Phillies team. Has good chemistry with Harp. Grew up in the Las Vegas area. You can't, let this guy, slip between your fingers like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Yes, the free agent, shortstop class is very, very attractive, but you have to have a certain amount of homegrown talent. So from that aspect, I really want to get on that train and say, hey, I'd love to throw, more money at a big offensive piece like that. But at the same time, you have to think about your prospects. You have to think about things like that. And you have to realize, hey, we got a big prospect coming up in this organization, Bryson Scott, he's going to get the short at shortstop. So I think that's important to talk about too. So Bryson Scott, I definitely have my eyes on Bryson Scott, moving in the next season. And I think what you do is you kind of take the risk of seeing what Didi Gregorius does. And I do think this team definitely needs a more consistent offensive bat to go along with Harp. And I feel like when this team is healthy, it could be very, very lethal. If we could disapprove the bullpen, but I think I'm kind of going on topic with that. But to answer your question, I do think it's a possibility with Dave Dombrowski. You never know with Dave. He's kind of a sneaky president of baseball operations. So as we move on here to an anonymous Instagram follower of mine, as they ask, what do you think of Bryce Harper's chances of winning the NL MVP are? So I'm going to kind of, dig into this a little bit, as this is our final question today. Like I said before, not a lot of questions this week because some of these questions were asked, like Bill's question was asked on September 3rd. So as I said before, it's been quite a while since we had one of these videos. I'm going to say it again. I apologize. I apologize. Back to this question. Bryce Harper definitely has a good chance of winning the National League Most Valuable Player Award. Not to mention his very, very strong second half. But pretty much what he's done all year, I think people are just putting too much emphasis on the second half thing. He started off the year on a pretty good note. At any time was he hitting around 240. He wasn't. His average pretty much all year didn't drop below that 260 mark. So he's been pretty, he's been performing at an MVP level since the second half, but he's performing at an all-star level in the first half as well. And he wasn't named an all-star, which I thought was totally ridiculous. And that's what just proves the point that the All-Star game is just totally just ridiculous, right? He'd be the first Philly to win an NL MVP, to not make the All-Star game since Jimmy Rollins, and he'd be the first Philly to win an MVP since Jimmy Rollins as well. So, it's pretty cool. To win an MVP and not make the All-Star game, but his OBP, everyone's talking about Juan Soto with the 471 OBP, and yes, if it's so impressive, it's higher than his, Bryce Harper's 460 OBP in his MVP year in 2015, but I think Harper, what Harper lacks in that category, he makes up for in other categories, right? And I mean, he's lacking. He has like a 434 on base percentage. It's excellent. That's elite numbers right there. And Juan Soto, I mean, these are two elite future Hall of Fame players right here, assuming they both stay healthy. I mean, this is exciting. It goes back to Tim Kelly's point too. Everybody that's kind of saying, "Oh, Juan Soto has no chance because he's on a bad team." That is not true at all, and it shouldn't be, right? I mean, it's anybody's game. Whoever has the best season should win. Now, the NL MVP. What does MVP stand for? Most valuable player. It's not the league's best player. It's the most valuable player. The player that brings the most value. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Forget about the numbers for a second. Forget about what Juan Soto does this week. Harper has a big series down in Atlanta, and is the reason why the Phillies can win this division. He is your MVP without a doubt. I think this race is just down between Harper and Soto. And I was reading an article this morning on OB Network saying that they think Harper's the front runner still. And if you go to look at the numbers, Juan Soto is having a better season than Harper. I mean, he has more games played. He's having the better season. But because the Phillies are in the hunt, Harper does have the edge. I do think that Harper has a very good chance of winning this award. But Juan Soto definitely having the better season. Soto could definitely take this too. So don't sleep on Soto at all. I'm still going to admit I do think that he does have the better numbers this year. But Harper does have the higher OPS. But Soto, he's just getting on base in the lead amount. You go take a look at WAR, but both guys are having amazing seasons. Even Fernando Tatis Jr., he's not really in this conversation anymore, but he still had a great year, right? Despite the bad defense. Juan Soto now in right field, he's a better defender than he was in left field too. So you have to keep that in mind as well. As former general manager Matt Klentak said yesterday, it's going to be pretty much decided on this week too. So what have you done for me lately, as he said. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. So that's the final question of the day. So guys, soon to watch this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media link in the description section. At Phillies at Still of Instagram, TikTok of Instagram. Call or text 267-225-3392. Email it, phillieshatstuff@gmail.com. So I'm going to say it again. If you want a chance to be on the show, call 267-225-3392. You can leave a voicemail to state your name, where you're calling from, question, and your opinion about any Phillies topic. Just wait to hear the tone. You could text Hotline number with a question, just where your name, where you're texting from, then your question and your opinion. And like I said, you can DM me on Instagram. That's all in the description section. Email me, phillieshatstuff@gmail.com. Send a voicemail to that email as well. So you have a lot of options. You can be on the show. So guys, thanks for watching. So big night tonight. 7:20, the first pitch. Boy, oh boy. Zach Wheeler, 14-9 with a 2.79 ERA, going against former Phil Charlie Morton, 13-6 with a 3.53 ERA. Let's go, Phils. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you later. I'll see you guys.